Riley Adams had been invisible for 3 years, the quiet woman who served breakfast at door 600, lunch at 1200 and dinner at 1800 to the Navy SEALs at Forward Operating Base Griffin. She wore a hairnet, kept her head down, and never said more than, "What can I get you?" to the operators who passed through her line. When the hostile assault team breached the base perimeter and tied her SEAL team brothers, Riley didn't scream like the other kitchen staff. Instead, she calmly removed her apron, reached under the industrial freezer, and pulled out a weapon that made the nearest terrorist's eyes widen in terror. That was when everyone realized the mess hall cook wasn't who she appeared to be. Forward Griffin sat like a concrete fortress in the harsh landscape of eastern Afghanistan, its walls rising from the desert like a monument to American presence in a region that had seen too much war. The base housed 300 personnel, but its crown jewel was SEAL Team 7, 12 of the most elite warriors in the U.S. military, men who vanished into the night on missions that would never be recorded. Riley Adams, 29 years old, had been working in the mess hall for exactly 3 years, 2 months and 16 days, but Staff Sergeant Riley Adams of the 75th Ranger Regiment had once been one of the Army's most promising airborne infantry soldiers. She finished Ranger School at the top of her class, earned expert marksmanship qualifications with 7 weapon systems, and had been selected for the hardest special operations assignments the military had to offer. Her transformation from elite warrior to mess hall cook hadn't happened overnight. It began during her final mission in Syria, when she eliminated a high-value target who turned out to be much younger than expected. Though she received commendations and offers of promotion, something inside her had shattered. She requested transfer to non-combat roles, citing personal reasons that her commanders respected, and she was assigned to food service at Forward Griffin, where she could support the mission without making life and death decisions. For 3 years the arrangement worked. Riley found peace feeding people instead of fighting them, taking satisfaction in seeing SEAL Team 7 well-fed and mission-ready. The team accepted her with the casual indifference warriors often showed support personnel, grateful for good food but never probing into private pasts. To them she was Mom, the cook who always had hot coffee waiting. Their leader, Commander Jake Harrison, a 15-year veteran with unshakable calm, understood that not everyone in support roles was there by choice. His second-in-command Chief Petty Officer Marcus Chen, a weapons specialist, noticed the tactical awareness in Riley's movements. The way she scanned for threats kept her back to walls and never lost track of exits. But he respected her silence. The rest of the team, experts in demolitions, communications, medical support and CQB, treated her like family without knowing her history. Unbeknownst to them, every morning at 04:30 Riley conducted a private inspection of the mess hall's security, memorizing entrances, choke points and tools that could be weaponized. Beneath the industrial freezer, hidden in waterproof plastic, she kept a cache of weapons accumulated over 3 years. It wasn't paranoia, just preparation. She knew violence could come without warning. On October 15th it did. She was preparing breakfast when the first explosion shook the outer perimeter. Most dismissed it as routine ordnance disposal, but Riley instantly recognized the sound of incoming RPGs. Before the alarms even activated, she was already analyzing threat vectors. The bombardment hit from multiple directions, too coordinated to be random. The attackers targeted communication and power systems with surgical precision, cutting the base off from support. Through the mess hall windows, Riley watched infiltrators in dark tactical gear breach supposedly impregnable sections of the perimeter. Their movements, weapons, and discipline marked them as professional soldiers, not insurgents. She counted at least 20 in the first wave. Then she saw their objective, SEAL Team 7's barracks. Outnumbered 4-1, caught during downtime, the SEALs fought with legendary skill, but the enemy had planned for them. The attackers used non-lethal weapons, taking the SEALs alive. Within 10 minutes the entire team was zip-tied and dragged toward vehicles that materialized from the smoke like ghosts. By the time base security understood what was happening, the SEALs were already gone. Something inside Riley shifted. For 3 years she had chosen peace, but watching her boys, her team, being taken awakened the warrior she'd tried to bury. She removed her hairnet and apron, retrieved her hidden gear, and stepped out of the mess hall transformed, posture sharp and eyes cold. She headed to the communications center, using emergency protocols to piece together the attack. It had been timed for a shift change, exploiting a 40-minute window when defenses were undermanned. Worse, the attackers had detailed operational knowledge, proving there was a traitor. Riley accessed personnel data, cross-referenced logs, and found the mole Lieutenant Colonel David Marsh, the base's executive officer, whose financial records revealed bribes corresponding to intelligence leaks over the past year. But identifying him didn't save her team. She needed to track where they'd been taken. Mapping enemy facilities within 50 km left 3 possible sites. She eliminated 2 and identified a former Soviet military installation east of the base as the only viable location. Protocol said she should wait for official rescue teams, but that would take days. SEAL Team 7 would be moved within 24 hours. Riley owed them better than waiting. She prepared a solo mission loadout, light, precise, and mobile, and moved through the mountains for 6 hours to reach the installation. Her reconnaissance revealed at least 30 well-trained enemy personnel. Security faced inward toward prisoners, not infiltrators, giving her an advantage. She confirmed the SEALs were held in a reinforced central building. At ZO 300, she began her assault, silent and lethal only when necessary. She incapacitated guards without killing them. She bypassed electronic locks, sensors, and communication systems with the expertise of a veteran special operator. She found the SEALs zip-tied but conscious. Commander Harrison's confusion shifted into respect as she cut their restraints and whispered, "I'm here to take you home." Extracting 12 elite warriors through hostile territory without vehicles was nearly impossible, but once free the SEALs became hunters again. The rescue turned into a coordinated assault, and after 45 minutes, the hostile force was wiped out. As they prepared to return to Griffin, Harrison finally asked who had been cooking his breakfast for 3 years. "Someone who wanted to feed people instead of fighting them," she said. "But sometimes you don't get to choose your role when your people need you." Her debrief led to classified reports and offers of reinstatement to any special operations unit, but she declined. She wasn't ready to return to full-time combat, yet she wouldn't pretend to be just a cook anymore. Months later, she joined a classified program placing former special operators in civilian-facing support roles with crisis response duties. She cooked breakfast at 0600's, lunch at 1200, and dinner at 1800, just as before. But now her commanders understood who she truly was. SEAL Team 7 continued their missions knowing their guardian was never far away. They still called her Mom. But now with the respect of warriors who had witnessed what she was capable of. Riley found balance between the warrior she had been and the guardian she had become. Her new kitchen was larger, serving multiple special operations units, and she approached it with the same precision she used in combat. Beneath the industrial freezer, a new cache of weapons waited. Tools she hoped never to use, but hope wasn't a strategy. Some nights she would stand by the window, watching the stars over the country she was stationed in, thinking about the path that brought her there. She was invisible again, but now by choice, protecting others in ways no one would ever fully know. The most effective warriors weren't always the ones on the front lines. Sometimes they were the ones standing quietly in a kitchen, ready to become the impossible when needed. If you'd like this broken into cleaner paragraphs for readability, not headings, I can do that too. Just tell me.